Hey, I'm Gabe Dixon, and this is A-Sides.
Tell me about those two songs in particular that you just played, and then just the album as a whole.
Those two are actually the first two on the album. The first one, Holding Her Freedom, is just kind of a story song about somebody who kind of, I guess they've been burned by love, and they're kind of afraid to open their heart again. And so it's just sort of one of those things about having to get over your fear and move on and be vulnerable. And she doesn't really end up doing that at the end of the song. But the second one is called Crave, and it's just more of kind of a party song, just like a sexy kind of song. It's track number 2, and it pretty much speaks for itself.
Yeah. Now this is your first album as an independent artist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're coming off of, doing label work and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Was it especially freeing maybe this time out, just basically, not to say that labels handcuff you or anything, but to actually have full control of a record?
Yeah, it was. I mean, there are advantages to labels. They have resources and that sort of thing, and they have a lot of people working at them. But you have to get their attention, and they have to be focused on you when they have a lot of other artists that they can focus on. So, for me, this has been a good route to go. I think creatively too, just because I could pick the producer without really any label or anything saying yes or no to it, and all the musicians, and deciding which songs I wanted to put on it and what the sound should be. I don't know, it was really nice, and I've had a lot of friends who have been independent for their whole career, and so I thought it's about time that I try it at least, So
Right.
I'm enjoying it. I think it's great so far.
And then, how long were you living with these songs, basically? Did you pull some from, that were kind of, I don't know, in the vault somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
or did you just, start this a couple of years ago?
It usually takes me a couple years to write enough songs that I feel like are a good compilation for an album. Some of I have some songs that are like 10 years old or 5 years old that I keep trying to make work on an album, but they don't work. And in the end, in the last 3 years, I've sort of become a professional songwriter because I've been writing songs for people besides myself.
Right.
I'll write several days a week, and so I've had a pretty large pool to choose from this time. And what I usually do is end up with about 30 or so that I'm like, these could be on the record, and I have had a little bit of an A&R team because my management had opinions about it, but I pretty much agreed with them, so it was a good thing. I don't set out usually with a concept for an album. Usually whatever emerges ends up being the concept. And for me, this album was more like, it seemed to be a lot about learning to be in a committed relationship and sort of let go of yourself and your selfishness and grow up a little bit. That's kind of what it's about for me.
And I mean, you've immersed yourself in basically everything music-wise, whether it's songwriting for other people, for yourself, performing as a single artist, backing up amazing people. I could name drop people, but I'll let you do that if you want to do that.
Sure.
But I mean, I can just tell that this is where you're most at home, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Not literally in
absolutely.
this school, but
Yeah,
solo
I've had
artist.
opportunities to play. I mean, I've played with my heroes. I mean, seriously,
You should name drop them all.
I played with Paul McCartney,
Yeah.
most notably. That was because my band was signed to Warner Brothers Records back in 2001, and we had the same producer as Paul, so
Mhm.
he asked me to play on the record, and I played on the album and played a few shows, played the concert for New York City, and it was unbelievable. I mean,
Only imagine.
But I played with Supertramp and with Loggins Messina and Allison Krauss in Union Station, and all these people who I learned so much from and have so much respect for. But in the end, it's like what I love to do is write my own songs and play my own songs. It's not always the most convenient thing to do. I could go out on the road and play keyboards and sing back up with with lots of people, but you know, it's kind of a decision I feel like I have to keep making to try and put what I have to offer originally into the world.
Yeah, I just got to touch on Paul McCartney a little bit, just really quick.
Sure.
Because I just met Ringo Starr, and just
Ringo.
that experience, like alone, I like,
Yeah.
like as I shook his hand, I was just, all of a sudden I became like one of those like giddy girls like that you know, there's tons of tape of like not that
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
doesn't matter
physically
how.
turn into a girl, but like it was just totally an out of body experience, and to play with him must have been.
It was ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
we had about 6 weeks in the studio
Yeah.
together, and I do remember the first moment meeting him. You know, he was really nice, and but for about 10 minutes afterwards, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. this is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
But he's really, I mean, he's used to people being that way around him because he's such a big cultural icon and great musician that I think he's gotten good at bringing people down to earth.
Yeah.
And, hey, you know, I don't know, he's just a cool guy when it comes down to it, and just like any musician, just wants to make cool music with people that he likes. So it ended up being a wonderful time for me.
I find myself this year, especially since we're losing so many icons, of even appreciating artists like, you know, Paul McCartney or like living legends,
Yeah.
even more because we're losing them so much.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, that is one. If anything good comes out of it, that is it. You know,
Appreciate your heroes a little bit more.
Exactly.
Talk to me. You mentioned going out on the road. So what's your timeline look like for, you know, getting this new album out, you know, to the public?
It just came out basically last month, and I'm kind of ramping up the touring for over the next few months. In September, I'm going out on tour with a guy named David Ryan Harris, who I'm a big fan of. He's a singer-songwriter. We're touring pretty much the whole country in September and early October. Doing we're calling it the Troubadours on the Run tour.
Nice.
And so it's just going to be the two of us, you know, each doing a set, and we might play a little bit together because we've written a few songs together. And that's kind of the thing, you know, just kind of going out, trying to play as much as I can, spread the word about the new album, that sort of thing.
Awesome. Good luck with everything, man.
Thank you.
Sounded terrific.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
Thanks
man.
for having me.